Hi there, this is Franklyn Miraculous Njobvu, the Defined podcast. I'm so excited to be here and I'm excited to have an opportunity to be able to speak to you all. Whether you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, or you are listening to me via the podcast, I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to bring content to you. So, in our previous video, we talked about authenticity. And in talking about authenticity, we described various issues. We talked about the fact that for you to be authentic, you're supposed to identify the person who created you. And in order for you to identify yourself, you're supposed to identify with your creator. So today I'm excited because I want to talk to you about defined. I want to talk to you about defined. What have you allowed yourself to, what have you allowed to label you? What have you allowed to, place labels and values on your life? It is very important that we understand that labels that people place on us and the ideologies that we may actually follow, knowingly or unknowingly, actually take important roots in our lives. For example, if someone were to come to you and tell you that you are not beautiful, if you're a lady, if someone were to come to you and tell you that you're not handsome as a guy, those ideologies that people are placing on you may seem to be jokes while you're joking with your friends, may seem to be just, things that you can get over while you're with your friends. But what happens now when you go back in the closet? What happens when you go back home? You begin to more like identify yourself based on the ideologies, based on the labels that your friends have placed on you. For example, you begin to say, I am ugly. You be saying, I'm not handsome, I'm not beautiful. You begin to have those things that people have placed on you, re-echo it through your mind. And then do you know what those things cause? It causes you to begin to live a life that is not authentic. You're going to begin to actually idolize certain categories of people. For example, if I am a guy, I'll begin to identify certain friends to say, okay, I wish I was created like this other person. I wish I was created like John. I wish I was created like Peter. I wish I was created like, this kind of guy. Maybe if I'm dark in complexion and people are coming towards me and saying, you would have been better if you were light in complexion. You would have been better if you were fair in complexion. It actually begins to, question myself. So does that mean that I'm not cute? Does that mean I'm not handsome? Does that mean that I'm not created, in a normal way? Therefore, every time I see someone who is light or fair in complexion, I'll begin to actually compare myself to them. I wish I was that kind of person. I wish I had that kind of complexion. These ideologies, these labels that people place on us may not, seem to be important in some ways, but they are very important. They play a very important role in our lives. So make sure that you identify what labels you are endorsing, what ideologies, what compliments you're allowing yourself to endorse, what compliments you're allowing yourself to embrace. People tell you certain things that you are not qualified, this talent doesn't suit you, this skill doesn't suit you. You don't even belong here. You don't even have the capacity to sing. You don't even have the capacity to be a YouTuber. You don't even have the capacity to be a preacher. You don't even have the capacity to do these kind of things. What have you allowed yourself to accept? It's up to you to accept the ideologies that people place on you. It's up to you to accept them. People are people. They're going to come with different ideologies. They're going to come with different labels. They're going to come with different statements against you, statements, that are going to either devalue the intrinsic value and the uniqueness that God has placed on the inside of you, or they're going to uplift you. So it is important that you as an individual, you begin to identify, so, okay, this thing that a person has given me is not actually in alignment with who I was created to be. So it's up to me now to either endorse it, up to me now to either accept it, up to me now to either, begin to identify myself as unqualified, identify myself as being weak, identify myself as being, inadequate based on what my friends or my colleagues have said. So it is very important, brothers and sisters, that we understand that this thing of identity and being defined has to do with those simple issues, those simple stuffs. Okay, so as we dive into this life, as we thrive into this life, this issue of identity is actually very, very important. This issue of identity is very important, and it has very much impact on your life. It has very much impact on how you live your life. It has, great impact on how you even identify with other people. All right. So before we go, I want to give you some tips on how you can be able to live an authentic life. Tips. Number one, aside from the one that we were talked about in our previous video. So number one, in order for you to live an authentic life, begin to love yourself. So it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter how your voice projection is. It doesn't matter how your complexion is. It doesn't matter how, you unqualified in some fields you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't matter. Identify yourself, know yourself, begin to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, you are unique, Franklyn. You are unique, Franklyn. You are handsome, Franklyn. You are created in the very image of God. Begin to identify those things that you know that, okay, for example, if you know that there are certain things, there are certain attributes that are within yourself that you do not like. There are certain, things, qualities that you do not like, or what other people have probably labeled on you. You begin to go face yourself in the mirror and say, if for example people are saying that you do not have a good accent, speak to yourself and tell yourself that, man, you've got a very good accent. Look at yourself, you've got a very good accent. If people are saying you are ugly, look at yourself in the mirror and say, man, you are so handsome, man, you're so cute, man, you're so beautiful. If people are giving you ideologies and labels that are incongruent with how God's created you, begin to speak to yourself, say, no, 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 you are handsome, no, 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 you are unique, no, 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 you are very qualified. Begin to identify yourself. By so doing, love will begin to flourish. Loving yourself will begin to come out, just spring out from your heart naturally. You begin to love yourself. As you love yourself, we stick now to number two. As you begin to love yourself, esteem others, love others. By loving others, I mean loving them as they are, not loving them like comparing yourself to them. The first thing, you're going to love yourself. The second thing, you're going to love others. By loving others, I mean just going through the class, identifying that friend whom you are more like competing with, that friend that has features that you do not have, that friend that has some components, some uniqueness that you know that I do not have. Go to them. Love them for who they are. Love them for their uniqueness. Appreciate their uniqueness. Appreciate those things that you know that you do not have, that you wish you'd have. By so doing, you're going to not only love yourself and have nothing to do with comparison, but you're going to also be able to appreciate God for who he has created you, and be able to frankly, honestly, and full of love, appreciate what he has created in other people. By so doing, authenticity will begin to flow from within you naturally, and then without any hesitation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all I had for you today, and I'm excited to tell you that next video is going to be more interesting as compared to this one. I believe this video has blessed you. I believe this video has impacted you. I believe this video has compelled you to be able to live an authentic life. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, as well as the links for these sites are going to be displayed on the description below. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Peace.